Hello, everyone. I'm happy to introduce our artist this evening. She's been teaching around the country since 1998. She's won numerous awards, local, nationally, and internationally over the years. Her works have been featured and included in many books, magazines, and publications, along with being displayed at numerous galleries, one-person shows, mixed media group shows, art fairs, corporate and private collections. She's a signature member of the American Watercolor Society, the Red River Watercolor Society, Society of Layerists in Multimedia, and the International Society of Experimental Artists. She's presently the only woman in Minnesota to be a signature member of American Watercolor Society, AWS. And she has won the Dung King Man Award at the AWS show. Her teachings include workshops throughout the United States, along with judging acrylic and experimental shows. At this time, I'd like to introduce Lana to you.
Before I decide to make my colors or my collage, I try to test the colors that I'm going to use. Why not? And I can't remember exactly how they're going to look. So I took this, and this was earthy colors. In our class today, we were using a triad. And the reason I used a triad because it gives the most action and the most excitement. Whereas you're doing earthy tones, they're more subtle, they're analogous. And when you're learning, it's nice to see that drama. But tomorrow, you people that are in my class, if you want to decide to do earthy tones instead of the triad that we started with, I have some veterans in my class, so especially my veterans, they don't have to play around with it. And then I say, well, gee, I'm going to have this this red. Well, if I put gold with it, what it makes out, it makes the orange, of course. And when I have I think I had the turquoise, and I put the gold with that. And I want it can be that pea green, that really neat green that I paint because it's more expensive than gesso. I don't bother. But if I want a transparent white, it has to be zinc. And then I can see through it. It's like a window, an opaque window, zinc. There's the difference of those two colors in paint, a piece of paper.
There you go.
Yeah, especially a piece I don't like. Very, very liberating. And I make my little mixture here, and I always add polymer to it to extend my paint. It doesn't change the viscosity or the color or anything of paint, and I can extend my paint to, like a bottle like this can end up being 3 bottles by me adding polymer in there. And then I just put water in here.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's water-based.
And stir it up. And I'd like to have it sitting down because now that's my color that I'm going to color this paper with. This is making your own collage paper. I wish I would have known this years ago before I spent hundreds of dollars on all that rice paper. You know, I started collecting rice paper like crazy, and you just love that rice paper for collage, but it's expensive. It's better to make your own paper. All right, so this is what I do, and so I have this.
Oh, is this tissue paper?
This is tissue paper. This is better quality tissue paper. You can get it at Michael's too. This tissue paper, but it doesn't fall apart.
How about that you can get at Costco's? Is that good tissue paper?
No, well, maybe, you know.
Because I got tons of it.
Let's try it. Try it and see if it falls apart. Because if it doesn't have enough tooth to it or meat to it, It'll just fall more than once in the last year and a half. But you can do more than you think you can. I'm going to get to this side. And it is surprising that you can. So get me another run ready for the next color. I'm going to put the red one in there. I try to cut my tissue paper so it fits in a plastic sleeve. And then I put them in big 3-ring binders because I can never find those collage papers. So I got those big, huge, fat 3-ring binders. They're like this wide. You find them at garage sales because nobody wants to store them. But then I just fold up my tissue paper and put it in my collage papers and put it in there. And then I mark the outside so I can find it. Storage is really tough with collage. And finding what you want is even better. And so, get ready for the next one. Find some of this that gold. There's a little bag of gold stuff. So I can change this a little bit and make another color by, of course, putting the turquoise over this. It's going to be green, so I've got, maybe I want some green paper later. So you can take this out of here. And then I like to put a little glitter in my life. This is called Valspar Granite Crystal Full Collection. Get it at Home Depot or any paint store that's called Granite Crystals. And it's kind of pretty in here. Kind of has a shimmer. I think Georgiana was trying to find it. Did you ever find it, Georgiana? We at the last workshop. Where, Lowe's? But they don't know what you're talking about. So, Valspar Granite Crystal is what I'm saying. I don't even know if it comes in colors, but I like the gold. Now we can get rid of that, Lisa. Get rid of that one. Okay, I want to get the red. Paintings of your layering because you're using these same colors you started with today. So, did you find the blue? Oh yeah, turquoise. And then maybe, where did this, I'll use that. So this paper can be, you know, all mixed up with different colors. It's probably really pretty that way. I'm going to go with the white. Now I'm going to get into the white one, the crystalline, and that over. All right. All right, the crystalline paper, and you may say, I just love it. I just love it. And I think of how to use it. And I came up with my way of using it, the paper. You can do it your own way. You can cut this paper up into shapes. I think Sharon did a floral and had leaves that she used the crystalline, didn't you? But you really do like that piece. I don't think she would sell it even. Right? Yeah, it's one of her favorites. But oh, you did sell it. You could be had. Okay. I see. Okay. Anyway, and it's hard to use this paper in a sensible way, but you just have to take a risk and do something different. And when I learned it, I just did it on a piece of paper, and the girl in the class bought mine. I wish I still had it. I didn't even have a picture of what I did with it. But I've really stuck with doing it this way for my classes to suggest something that is comfortable for them to do. But in the class, you can do anything you want. You can do any format you want. You can cut it in circles. You can cut it in strips, whatever you want. Now, this one here is a earthy one. And here, this is the size I cut my strips, that way. And then I just slip them, fold them up and slip them in here, and then I've got them stored. And I put them in a great big binder. All right, and I'm gonna get just one piece and I'll put white on it. I'll put this. And I'm using gesso, plain gesso. It's kind of thick. Do I have a bottle? Did I spray a bottle with water here? No, that's alcohol. Yeah. Okay. I want to control how much water I put in there. If this doesn't work, try something else. I want to be able to move that gesso. If it's too thick, it'll just rip the heck out of the paper. So this is the beginning of doing crystalline paper. And
You know, this is done on tissue paper. Okay,
yes, this is on tissue paper.
just for the video here.
And it turns into be almost like a piece of leather. I'll pass it around, you can feel it. It gets so heavy and thick. Be sure not to put too much water in your gesso, but you want just enough that you can move it. Some of the Liquitex gesso is much lighter and more fluid. Liquitex. Golden is just right. Utrecht Professional is the cheapest that I've found. Very dense and probably the best, but it's really thick. Paint ready. And this was my earthy tone one. This was earthy. And so I did that side, and I know I have to turn it over. Oh, well, I'll turn it over. And it's dry, of course. I did this at home. I did a little piece on my back, it doesn't matter. Then I just put this here. I have my stuff ready, my colors ready over here, because I'm going to pour that on there.
Okay, before you do that, did you turn that paper all the way around the other side, or is that the side that you painted?
I just ripped it, see?
That's all you did, you ripped it off?
She took off the gesso.
Oh, she flipped it. I didn't see that on the video. The gesso's on the back.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
talk about it again in just a second here. I'm just gonna
Okay.
I got a little boo-boo here. Okay. Okay, you saw the one I did all white. Now, I'm just gonna, don't even look at this. Pretend that's not here. Just don't see it. Close your eyes and don't see it. They are all white. This was white, okay, this is white. I turned it over, see, and I put it here.
Okay.
And now this is where, I'm not going to say what my mom always said. The bear something in the woods, or something like that. This is a big deal. Right? This is the part of it that works. You have to have your colors ready, and you have to have your gesso ready. And you're going to, I was telling my students today, don't put this brush all the way down. It takes up too much water. You just dab it a little bit in the water, and it gets a little bit wet. If you have more control, if you don't go all the way down in there. The control of the liquid. All right, you're going to paint this other side white. Can you find another one that was half done like that?
There isn't.
Yeah, there is. I'll try to find it. These things start looking like each other. It's so hard to say. This has to stay wet. This must be wet. You cannot let this dry or it won't work. So it's wet right now. I can see the glow on it. I might keep my mister handy, just not to put it really wet. And then I pour this on here. I hope these are the colors I had. I don't think I really had a brown in there. I'm thinking of those Utah colors, kind of. If you don't go and see Utah and the hoodoos, you gotta do it before you die. That is the greatest scene in the whole world. You gotta go to Utah. Bryce Canyon. It's great.